Abbie.
Hi, Zach. Hi.
Hi. I just wanted you to just introduce yourself first and tell us a little bit about your business and where you were at the start of this journey.
Okay, so my name's Abi Beszant and I own Frontline Style Limited in Somerset. I acquired the business following my mother's death last year, and it's been in our family for 40 years. So it started by my granddad, who was a hairdresser, and it developed into a beauty salon, and then latterly a perfumery as well. So we sell high-end retail items in our perfumery. So Chanel, Kenneth Green, we're a gold salon for Clarins and Caudalie, and we have got 4 beauty rooms and a large hair salon on the first floor.
Yeah. Okay. And when we first started the process, you actually had 2 locations, and sort of halfway through the process, we had to close one of them down. So that kind of caused a few complications during the process. Yeah.
Yes, it did. It did. Yeah, we had to make a decision. And unfortunately, of things out of our control, we had to close our Bath branch. But in a way, it made it a bit easier to just concentrate on Wales as one proposition, because the locations weren't particularly close. It made it easier to just do Wales then.
Okay. So just taking you back to the beginning of the process, where obviously you were deciding what path to take and which broker to use to represent you. What was your kind of decision-making process, and what made you choose us, and then as a company?
Well, I remember it very well, because following my mother's death, there was a little bit like a rabbit in the headlights, thinking, oh my goodness, was approached by a lot of people, especially throughout COVID, wanting to sell our business and seeing if we were interested in using them. But I spoke to a lot of people, and I just wanted somebody highly professional and reputable. That was the most important thing for me. Somebody with credibility and also experience, because I spoke to some people and they hadn't actually sold hair and beauty businesses before. It's quite a niche market, and it's completely different to selling just a normal business. So I wanted somebody that was an expert in the industry. And I noticed that you were accredited by the National Hair Federation and recommended by them. So for me, that was a really big draw in approaching you.
Great. And even before we went to market, I remember us having a couple of conversations just to make sure that it was the right thing for you to do, and just to make sure that you kind of understood what was involved in the journey. Was that useful for you, rather than just plunging in and going for it?
Yeah, it was very, very useful, because I had no idea. And it is a really complex process. You think it's going to just be quite quick, somebody buy you, done, dusted, but it's not like that at all. There's lots of variance in what you can do along the way, and actually your expertise in that really, really helped guide me, and also know that we were making the right decision as a family, and what was involved.
Okay, great. And when we first started the process, clearly you as well as looking forward to selling the business, you may have had some concerns, some fears. Worst case scenarios tend to play out in people's minds before they make these big decisions. What were your particular fears about going to the market? What were your particular concerns?
Well, obviously it's a wrench, because it'd been in our family for 40 years. So were we doing the right thing? Should we carry it on? It was a very successful, highly profitable business. So should we just keep it and find somebody to help us run it and things like that? But I think for us, it was the right decision to do it. And actually, we just didn't want it to. There's lots of people out there, and I think we wanted it to go to somebody that will grow it and keep it on and keep it going for another 40 years to keep the family legacy alive. So that was really important to us, to not only find somebody to buy it, but find somebody really fantastic to buy it.
Yeah, yeah. I found that in this particular case, we had a few challenges. We'd just come out of COVID, of course, and then suddenly we were having economic challenges at the time we went to market. how do you feel we kind of navigated that process? Because, the circumstances were quite against us, weren't they, during the journey, and especially trying to find a buyer?
Yes, and I don't think the government helped much either, with interest rates going up and things like that. So it was a challenge. It was a challenge, but actually we stuck to our guns and actually did everything in the right way. And I think that that helped see us through. And all our processes were very regimented, and the steps were quite clear along the way. So I think that really helped.
Yeah, great. And obviously, I've tried to offer a personalized service. Can you elaborate on some of the ways that you feel that I've helped with that sort of personal side of things? I mean, obviously, we've been on WhatsApp a lot and having long conversations, which we did. But how did you find everything overall? How did you kind of find the service?
That for me was the biggest thing, because it is quite a scary thing to do, and you don't really know what to expect because you haven't done it before. I think when you're a seasoned entrepreneur, you're used to these things, but having you on the end of WhatsApp, I remember very vividly having a conversation with you late into a Friday night, probably for about an hour and a half, and actually having you at the end of the phone all the time. You're very, very good at getting back quickly, even if you're, say later on, I can get back to you later on, but you always get back. You're at the end of the WhatsApp all the time. Even if it's just a really quick question, I could always ask you and you'd always give me an answer, and you'd always go above and beyond your remit, sometimes into the solicitor area as well, just to say, right, this is what to expect and things like that. And I really, really valued that. That was really fantastic for me.
Okay. And yeah, talking about the legal process again, although it's the lawyers and the accountants kind of leading the way, did you find it useful to have me there to bounce ideas off, go to sales agreements with you, and also, I think very importantly, keep a commercial balance on the deal, because lawyers tend to look at things only from a legal point of view and not necessarily what's commercially realistic in the marketplace at the moment.
Absolutely, without a doubt. I mean, that's the nuts and bolts of it. Is you can want what you want, but actually, what is the commercial landscape and what is achievable for your business? Because you do have to be realistic, and it's really useful to have somebody that takes the emotion out of it, because as a family you can have these great expectations and things like that, but actually you need somebody to say, well, this is what's realistic and this is achievable, because as you said, the lawyers are very much just the legals. They don't talk about the commercials at all. It is what it is. But you need someone like yourself to give you a really realistic view of the marketplace at the time. Yeah. That's really
great. And again, just talking very quickly, obviously our starting point was to value the business. Of course, we did value initially with both the sites, but I felt that it was important because we did pretty much get what we asked for in terms of that. So did you feel it was useful to have that sort of stake in the ground, that valuation that an acquirer looks at and understands why we've pieced it together in that way?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, if I could do it all over again, I would always do the valuation, because otherwise it's just what you think it's worth, and that can be open for scrutiny. Whereas actually, when you've got a formal valuation, that is certainly a starting point, and give, like you said, a stake in the ground. I think that's essential with any professional negotiation.
And another thing which I kind of think is important really is that when you're dealing with an organization that's had other acquisitions in the past and the characters involved in that, it's always very difficult for somebody who's selling their first business to be able to kind of battle with them, with an even playing field. So one of the things I try and do is to make sure that we're not bullied around, and that we represent ourselves in the best possible way to get the best deal. Did you feel that was done for you?
Yes, I wouldn't have do it myself. And also you're very, I mean, we spoke to several people that were interested, didn't we? And you're good at the guiding, saying, right, okay, it might be a better offer, but actually, you know, this, you've got to look at the whole package. And you were very good at that all along the way, because we did have several people that were interested, but potentially they weren't very favourable in the long run. So actually that's really, really important. And I always think it's better to have a third party. I think because it's a balance, isn't it, for both sides then.
And was there anything sort of unexpected, you know, any unexpected hurdles or obstacles that emerged which surprised you during the journey?
Only at the end. How yeah, lot evolved at the end. Which I didn't after we'd done our bit, you and me, but it's more for the solicitors. There was a lot involved and I had no idea, and it all sort of came right at the end, a bit of a mad rush, but we got there. But the solicitor side, I think, was a bit more of a challenge for me, but certainly my journey with you and all the preparation we did in the run up to finding a suitable buyer was essential, and also really, really helpful, because it meant that there wasn't a mad panic. And for somebody like me that likes to be really organized and approachable and things like that, that was really helpful for me. Okay, great. And just finally,
what would you recommend us to anybody that is looking to sell their salon?
Absolutely. I mean, gosh, yeah, 100%. For me, I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. I had no clue really, and actually I feel really confident in the deal that we did by using yourself. If I'd had to do it myself, well, I don't think we would have got there. And I don't know when to start, because how do you know who's credible, who's not, unless you know what you're looking for? I think it's absolutely essential, because it obviously is an outlay, but it means that the deal that you then acquire is absolutely solid. And they are reputable, the people that are buying your salon. So for me, I don't know how people do it without you, actually, Zach. I definitely.
Thank you. And just one final thing I wanted to say from my perspective was that often business owners don't know what's involved for them in the journey, and how hard you've had to work, you know, alongside myself and your other advisors in getting the deal over the line. So, because you did have to put a lot of time and effort into the deal. And I guess, did that surprise you how much of your time and energy it took?
Yes. And also with some of the prospective buyers as well, they wanted to know a lot of information, and that took a lot of time. We spoke a lot to several people, didn't we? And so I think that you think that it's a bit like a house, you'll just do a couple of viewings and somebody will buy you, and actually it's not like that at all. You have to do a lot of due diligence, depending on what sale you're going for in your business. But yeah, a lot's expected, but I truly believe that the more you put in, and the more transparent you are, the better the buyers are that you acquire, really.
Okay, great. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you.